Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating, honestly kind of deeply reflective piece of source material. It basically forces us to look at the ultimate trajectory of our human relationships. We're going to examine the actual architecture of our lives, right? How our social circles inevitably shift over the decades, and ultimately, who is actually left standing right beside us when the dust finally settles. Okay, let's dive right into this. The source material starts by confronting us with a pretty harsh reality, one that unfortunately a lot of men fail to realize or just don't deeply understand about their own futures. We spend our entire lives accumulating all these connections. We're networking, we're socializing, we're building families, but we rarely stop to map out the long-term attrition of those bonds. So the overarching question framing our analysis today is simple, but man, it is incredibly heavy. Who will actually be there when you grow old? Part 1. Inevitable life losses. Let's start by looking at the outer layers of our social circles. And this brilliantly illustrates what the source describes as a kind of relationship funnel. It's a chronological process of elimination across a lifetime. First, it points out the painful but unavoidable truth that our parents will eventually pass away. Second, our friendships, they face severe tests over time and they often dissolve. And third, our kids grow up and leave home. Now, this isn't meant to be depressing, not at all. It's just meant to strip away our illusions of permanence regarding these specific outer layers of our lives. Let's see how this builds on our changing social landscape. Because while we absolutely rely heavily on our friends to get us through life, the source explicitly breaks down exactly why these bonds fracture. Friends might act poorly toward you, which fundamentally damages the trust. Or the separation might be purely geographic, like they just moved to another country. Or, perhaps most commonly, as you both age, your values and interests just diverge. Maybe they adopt a totally new lifestyle or get really into some bizarre hobby you just can't relate to. The big takeaway here is that friendships, no matter how rock solid they feel to you today, are highly susceptible to the changing winds of life. Which brings us to part 2, when children grow up. The inevitable departure. Now, what's really interesting about this is how it captures a highly anticipated, yet honestly deeply melancholic milestone. The source paints a very specific, everyday reality for when your kids hit 16, 17, or 18. They reach this point of natural independence, essentially saying to you, Mom and Dad, we love you, but we're leaving to study in another city or we're going to work. Bye. It's a natural, completely healthy progression, but it signifies a massive shift in your daily reality. The kids you literally poured your life into are now out there building their own lives, entirely elsewhere. Part 3, the most important person nearby. Who actually remains in the inner circle? So where does this actually leave us? Well, after those outer layers of the social funnel are completely stripped away, we're left with a stark core contrast. On one side, we have the outer circle, which the source identifies as inherently temporary. Yes, you absolutely can and will build ties with other people throughout your life, but friends leave, kids move out. Versus the inner circle, which is permanent. According to the source, when all is said and done, you are left alone with your wife. The text makes a really definitive argument here. If your partner is not your absolute best friend, and if she's not sitting squarely in the #1 spot on your priority list, you're missing the fundamental architecture of a lasting life. So the crucial point the source drives home is this. The single most important relationship of your entire life is the one with your wife. It is specifically with her that you meet old age. Think about it. When the house is totally quiet because the kids have moved away, and when the friends have relocated or just drifted apart, she is the singular person sitting across from you. The success of your later years depends entirely on the quality of this specific bond. Which leads us to a truly striking metaphor from the source. It issues a real mic drop warning here. Men who do not work on themselves and who do not try to change for the sake of their beloved are essentially sawing the branch on which they sit. By refusing to grow, by refusing to actually prioritize the relationship, you are actively destroying the very foundation that's supposed to support you in your twilight years. It is an act of profound self-sabotage. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a direct challenge based entirely on the philosophy we've just unpacked. Take a good, hard look at the structure of your life. Acknowledge the temporary nature of your outer circles. And ask yourself this: what are you doing today for the person you will meet old age with? Are you actually nurturing your absolute best friendship, or are you sawing the branch? Thanks for joining me. Keep learning, keep reflecting, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.